Epic Poesy presents Tim Blusters Dream by George W. Doneghy. 'Twas a place of 50 acres, in a lonely neighborhood, and near a grove of somber pines the shackly farmhouse stood. And all the folks, for miles around, did solemnly declare that ghosts and goblins horrible held nightly revel there. They said the house was haunted, and that not a man alive in all the country round about could own the place and thrive. That the cattle died with fever, and the hogs the cholera took, and every one that tried it wore a mighty troubled look. But they put it up at auction, and Tim Bluster bid the most, who always said, there want no haunts nor any kind of ghost that ever walked a graveyard in the middle of the night, could make his nerves unsteady, or could fill him with a fright. So Tim got full possession, and he moved out to his home. And the first night, as he sat there, within his room alone, the door was softly opened, and a cat came walking in, with eyes like balls of fire and a coat as black as sin. Then squatting on its haunches, it said, in tones polite, there seems to be but two of us to stay in here tonight. Tim muttered in a trembling voice, as for the door he run, perhaps you think there will be two, but darn me, there's but one. Tim stayed away the blessed night, but when the daylight came, it brought him back his courage, and it filled him full of shame. And then he said unto himself, there wasn't any cat could make him leave that room again. He'd bet his life on that. So when the shades of evening fell, Tim double-barred the door, and took precautions that, perhaps, he hadn't night before, and felt quite sure that nothing now could gain admittance there. And peacefully he dozed and slept, sitting in his chair. Then, all at once, he roused himself, and opening wide his eyes, beheld a figure standing there that made his hair arise, like quills upon a porcupine, and froze his heart with fear. And headless though it was, it spoke, and said in accents clear, there seems to be but two of us to stay in here tonight. Tim made a bound, and took with him the sash and every light. And then he jumped a 9-rail fence, and down the road he spun, and said, perhaps he thinks there's two, but darn me, there's but one. 'Twas 7 miles before he stopped and sat down on a log, to catch his breath and rest a while from his nocturnal jog. And then he turned his head around, and right before his face, the figure stood, and said to him, I think we've had a race. Tim tried to speak, and not a word he found to utter then. But as he jumped from off his seat and broke away again, he spluttered out, I know we have, but think it's not quite done. For you can bet right now's the time we'll have another one. Away Tim flew. He left the road, and through the woods and fields. The pace he set was wonderful, the ghost right at his heels. And that old house is tenantless, and slowly rotting down. Since that dread night Tim had his dream, and moved right back to town.